Hello! Welcome back to the Spoonie Stitcher channel. I'm Shannon the Spoonie Stitcher. You're inside the Stitchery, and I'm so happy you're here today. We're going to look at this book! I'm so excited. Today is a flip-through. A flip-through is a thing on my channel that I like to do, that we go through pattern books so you can see every single pattern that is inside. And, of course, we are avoiding copyright, so I can't show you the actual pattern, but I will show you as many pictures as possible, and you can see if this is something you would like to put on your Christmas list or get for somebody you know. So today is Hooked on Shakespeare, Crochet Projects Inspired by the Bard, by this person. And obviously first we have Romeo and Juliet. Don't they look wonderful? Let's get started. Okay, so let's start with Romeo and Juliet. My only love sprung from my only hate, too early seen unknown, and known too late. Juliet. Two youngsters from opposing families, both alike in dignity, fall in love and marry in secret. If that wasn't complicated enough, a fight breaks out between the two families and the groom ends up killing the bride's cousin. Oops. Juliet is meant to be marrying someone else, so she fakes her own death to avoid it. That's a bit drastic. Romeo hears the news that she has died and decides upon himself to die next to her. Juliet wakes to find Romeo is dead, and then she kills herself. Yeah, if you couldn't guess, this is a tragedy. But the patterns are not, so let's see. So first, our handsome hero, Romeo. He has a lot of pieces. Ooh. But it looks like feet to neck is one piece, so that's good. And over here, you can kind of see some more of how he's made. They recommend a 2.5 millimeter hook. No, thank you. 6 millimeter safety eyes. 4 ply, 100% cotton yarn. Ooh, okay. Well, I'm not going to be making him that size, but you can. And of course, we have Juliet. O Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? Deny thy father and refuse thy name. Thou art myself, though a Montague. What's a Montague? No, I did not play Juliet. Oh, this is cute. Again, a lot of pieces, but I like how she made the costume. Ah, the Scottish play. By pricking of my thumbs, something wicked this way comes. Did you know that's where this is from? I did. Macbeth and his friend Banquo meet the three witches while traveling home. They prophesy that Macbeth will become Thane of Cawdor and then King of Scotland, and Banquo's descendants will one day rule. When Macbeth returns home, the king promotes him to Thane of Cawdor, making him believe that the first prophecy has come true. He tells his wife, and the pair plot to take the throne and kill anyone who gets in their way. If you ever hear anyone related to a Lady Macbeth type character, it's not good. I read this one. I've read Romeo and Juliet too. But I've read a lot of Shakespeare's plays. If you didn't know, I'm a huge Shakespeare fan. So this one is also a tragedy. Lots of death, lots of murder, yeah. So it looks like there's the witch and Macbeth. That's interesting, they tried to make him a tartan. First we have Macbeth. Is this a dagger which I see before me, the handle towards my hand? I think he looks good. I appreciate the tartan. I think that's a cool touch. Okay. Yes, so to be accurate to the story, you have to make 3 of these, because it's the 3 witches. Double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble. Speaking of cauldron, you can make one. I think they look good. I can tell they're witches. It's a lot of black yarn, though. I don't know. I don't know if I'd make this one just purely because that's a lot of black yarn. A Midsummer Night's Dream. What angel wakes me from my flowery bed? That would be Queen, Titania. I've heard it both ways. I don't know how you say it, but anyway. That is the Fairy Queen. Titania, the elegant Fairy Queen, and Nick Bottom, a weaver and part-time actor, are brought together in the woods by magic and mischief. Titania's husband, King Oberon, is annoyed with her disobedience and wants to play a trick on her. He anoints her eyes with special juice that will make her fall in love with the next creature she sees. To add to even more mischief, the fairy Puck sees some workers in the forest rehearsing a performance and decides to give Nick Bottom a donkey's head. Bottom wanders into the forest wondering why all his friends have run away and begins singing and awakens Titania, who falls madly in love with him at first sight. There is some tragic elements, but it is basically a comedy. So the two you can make from this play are the Queen and Nick Bottom. First we have our Fairy Queen. She's cute. So I have seen multiple versions of A Midsummer Night's Dream, and I have to say I thought Michelle Pfeiffer did an excellent job as the Fairy Queen. That's a good version. And I think it was Rupert Everett who was King Oberon. And then Stanley Tucci was Puck, the sprite. But anyway, the color choices, though, are a little odd to me. I would put her in way more pastels. You know, she's kind of made of flowers and mist and dew and the elements of the world. The green makes sense, but I'm not loving the purple hair. But maybe that's just me. So, this is Bottom. Nick Bottom. Now, he is a man. If you've not seen the play, he is a man who, unfortunately, because of Puck's mischief, was given a donkey's head. Temporarily. And so, yeah, that is unfortunate. Now, I think if I was making Nick Bottom, I would make two heads. I would give him like a mask of a donkey, personally. But, that's just me. I have had a most rare vision. I had a dream, past the wit of a man to say what a dream it was. The eye of man hath not heard, the ear of man hath not seen, the man's hand is not able to taste, his tongue to conceive, nor his heart to report what my dream was. Antony and Cleopatra. They look great. So far, this is the best looking one in the book. Let Rome and Tiber melt, and the wide arch of ranged empire fall. Here is my space. Queen Cleopatra and Mark Antony are deeply in love and living it up in Egypt. Antony is one of the triumvirate, one of the rulers of the Roman Empire, along with Lepidus and Octavius Caesar. Antony gets word that his wife has died, and there are a number of rumors a rebellion, so he must return to Rome. Cleopatra does not want him to go, and to be fair, she has a good point, because when Antony does go back to Rome, he ends up marrying Caesar's sister. Peace negotiations fail, and military battles ensue, and well, Cleopatra, trying to win back Antony's love by saying she has died, he then mortally wounds himself, dies in her very much alive arms, and then Cleopatra too kills herself with a poisonous asp. That is a snake, by the way. So these, I believe, are part of Shakespeare's history section. So he made three kinds. He made a tragedy, comedy, and history. And I'm almost positive this belongs under history. Although, yes, you can definitely say that it is a tragedy. But I do believe this belongs in the history section of his plays. Here is Mark Antony. I love it. It definitely looks like a Roman soldier. I look at this and I immediately think like Quo Vadis and the robe and the Ten Commandments and movies from Hollywood probably none of you have heard of. Which is a shame because they're excellent. Also, Ben-Hur. I'm getting serious, Bible epic movies. There's beggary in the love that can be reckoned. Look over here. Look at his sandals. That is so cool that they gave him sandals. And they totally look like the old leather strap sandals that you see in all the like old movies and stuff. Yeah, he's done really well. Here is Cleopatra. Whoop. Sorry, the pages are shiny. I'm trying to deal with the glare here. Here we go. Okay, so here's Cleopatra. Age cannot wither her, nor custom stale her infinite variety. Look over here. Look how they did her eye. That looks just like Egyptian makeup that you see on all like the hieroglyphics and stuff. That is so cool. Yeah, she and Mark Antony are done amazingly well. Like, I just barely glance at them and I know what part of history they belong in. I'm really, really impressed with these two. I might have to make these. Maybe next year. Aww. And here are the two lovers. That's a cute photo. I like that. Hamlet. Something rotten in the state of Denmark. So it looks like we've got Hamlet, Father's Ghost, and Yorick. So let's read the little synopsis here. Things aren't going well for Prince Hamlet, you think. His father has died, his widowed mother Gertrude has married his uncle Claudius, and Claudius is now king. Hamlet is even more annoyed when he finds out from his dad's ghost that it was actually Claudius who murdered him. He turns to Ophelia, who loves him, and who he once loved, and tells her to get to a nunnery. Hamlet is intent on vengeance, fakes madness, and inadvertently ends up killing Ophelia's dad. Although, to be fair, he shouldn't have been eavesdropping behind the tapestry. It is not only death in Danish tragedy. Ophelia drowns herself, Gertrude drinks poison by mistake, Hamlet kills Claudius and Ophelia's brother, and eventually dies himself in his wounds. Hamlet's friend Horatio tries to kill himself, but Hamlet wants him to stay alive to tell the story. The Tragedy of Hamlet is Shakespeare's longest play, with 4,000 lines. An unedited version would take around 4 hours to perform, which Kenneth Branagh has made. It is amazing, and if you have a wonderful, nice, rainy afternoon with 4 hours to spare, I highly recommend it. Okay, so this is Prince Hamlet. I love the coat. The coat is wonderful, and the sash is great. It's the hair and the face. Something about the hair and the face. Anyway. Alas, poor Yorick, I knew him, Horatio, a fellow of infinite jest. Because he was the jester. Ha ha ha. Yeah. Anyway. He's still made very well. I just don't get Hamlet from this. Oh well. Here is the father's ghost. Obviously he's made in grayscale to make him look like a ghost. You could also make him in blue, white. Thousands of options here. There are more things in heaven and on earth, Horatio, than there are dreamt in our philosophy. That's a very good line. Henry VIII. Now this definitely belongs in the history section. Love thyself last. Cherish those hearts that hate thee. Corruption wins not more than honesty. Cardinal Wolsey. The king's advisor, Cardinal Wolsey, is seen by other members of the court as power-hungry, ruthless, and there are suspicions that he has an influence to have the Duke arrested for treason. Later, Henry meets Anne Boleyn, that must be Anne Boleyn, at a party and falls for her, which means that he has to either get his marriage annulled or get divorced. Poor Queen Catherine is out and Anne is in. Catherine would be Catherine of Aragon, if you did not know. These two are done well. I wonder why they chose Boleyn. But, okay. Let's see. Henry VIII. Yep, I see it. This one is extremely well done. I completely get the feeling that this is Henry VIII. We all are men, in our own natures frail, and are capable of our flesh. Few are angels. Here is another picture of Henry VIII. Ye have angels' faces, but heaven knows your hearts. That was Catherine of Aragon, and she's right. Oh, bonus pattern. He was not shown in the original picture, but this is Cardinal Wolsey. The king has gone beyond me. All my glories in that one woman I have lost forever. No sun shall ever usher forth mine honors, or gild again the noble troops that waited upon my smiles. Here is beautiful Anne Boleyn. Oh, sorry, there's a glare. There we go. I swear, 'tis better to be lowly born and range with humble livers in content, than be perked up in a glistening grief and wear a golden sorrow. Ooh, that's a good line. She has a point. I like how she's made. I can definitely see this for Anne Boleyn. That's very pretty. Continuing on with history section, Julius Caesar. Now this play has some of the best lines about like government satire. It's an excellent play. I love to hear it performed. Julius Caesar. The fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars, but in ourselves. Julius Caesar returns to Rome triumphant from a war against Pompey and is lauded and honored by the Republic. The celebrations cause concern among the members of the Senate that just one man has too much power and that he could seek to become emperor. Caesar is warned by a soothsayer to beware the Ides of March. That would be March 15th. An assassination plot unfolds and Brutus is eventually persuaded to take part in the conspiracy on the Ides of March, March 15th. Caesar is stabbed by his senators, including the final blow from his friend Brutus. Hence the very famous line, Et tu, Brute, and you too, Brutus? Julius Caesar. Yep, that's pretty much what he always looks like. The crown of laurels on his head, the toga, the rich purples or reds to show wealth and royalty. Oh, Brutus, Brutus, what have you done? I don't know, something about this one bothers me. Oh, his little line here is, a soothsayer bids you beware the Ides of March. King Lear. What? Are you kidding me? That's who the second pattern is for King Lear? The guy has 3 daughters that are extremely important to the story. No, that's disappointing. This is disappointing. King Lear looks great, but that is the second pattern? Ugh. That's really disappointing. Aging King Lear is ready to retire and divide up his kingdom, so he asks his 3 daughters how much they love him. The older 2, Goneril and Regan, satisfy him with platitudes, but the younger Cordelia, she can't express her love in words, which angers Lear and he disowns her, splitting the realm between the other 2. Really, guy? Really? Okay. Anyway, Lear and 100 knights stay with both Goneril and Regan, who grow frustrated hosting the entourage. Lear is angered by their disrespect and departs with his fool at his side into a stormy night. This guy. Lear loses his mind, and upon hearing this, Cordelia reunites with him, and a battle ensues against her sisters. Oh, if only it stopped there. This one is quite the tragedy if you've never read it. So by now you've seen what King Lear looks like. There's not much else I can show you, but here's another photo of him. Blow winds and crack your cheeks. Rage blow your cataracts and hurricanes. Here is the fool. Thou shouldst not have been old till thou hast been wise. Meh. I still wish it was the daughters. However, you could use Juliet, Anne Boleyn, and any other females in this book and make them the daughters. You could also make the Anne Boleyn pattern into Lady Macbeth if you wanted to. Much Ado About Nothing. This is my favorite Shakespearean comedy. It is so clever and funny, and if you have never seen the Kenneth Branagh, Emma Thompson adaptation of this play, I was rolling, and I believe the two were actually married at the time, which makes it even funnier. After the war, Prince Don Pedro and his entourage, including his illegitimate brother, Don John, Benedict and Claudio arrive at the house of Leonate, the Duke of Messina. The Duke's daughter Hero and niece Beatrice live there too, and Claudio and Hero fall in love and get engaged. In contrast, Beatrice and Benedict, who despise the idea of love, engaged in merry war, throwing insults at each other constantly. The friends decide to trick them into falling for each other, while Don John decides to ruin Claudio and Hero's wedding by casting doubts on her honor. Hero is jilted and fakes her own death, but in the end, love wins and the couple marries, and everyone, except for the arrested Don John, parties. Like I said, it's a comedy, so, you know. It's cute. It's really fun. Let's see what else she says. Much Ado About Nothing is Shakespeare's most frequently performed comedy, featuring the warring pair who end up falling in love, and it is worth watching just for the insults. Amen, it is. Nobody insults like Beatrice and Benedict. I do love nothing in this world as well as you. Is not that strange? He looks great. He's got his military coat on. I like this one a lot. I may have to make Benedict and Beatrice just because it's my favorite comedy. Beatrice! Lots of work to make this one, but oh, is it worth it? She's so cute. Scratching could not make it worse, such a face as yours. Such a good line. I'm glad they put that one in here. Seriously, if you've never seen an adaptation of Much Ado About Nothing, find one. They're all pretty good. But it's such a funny play. The Tempest. Now, I want to say right now, this is one of the most disappointing patterns in this whole book. Because I really think that they went too simple. And I'm not thrilled with the characters they chose either, but more on that in a second. Okay. We are such stuff as dreams are made on, and our little life is rounded with a sleep. Prospero was once Duke of Milan, but was usurped by his brother Antonio. Understandably annoyed, Prospero fled the city with his daughter Miranda and settled on an enchanted island. He rules over with the spirit Ariel and the creature Caliban, the son of a witch. Years later, Antonio, King Alfonso of Naples, and his son Ferdinand are sailing nearby, and Prospero conjures up a shipwreck to teach them a lesson. Caliban meets Alfonso's drunk butler, Stefano, and decides that he is his new master. Mischief is made, Miranda and Ferdinand fall in love, and eventually Prospero and his brother reconcile. Prospero decides to go back to Milan, leaving the island behind and the magic forever. This is Ariel, the sprite. What? No. That is so disappointing. You know what he looks like? He actually looks like one of the pixies from Harry Potter. Caliban's not bad. Prospero's okay, although he kind of reminds me of Moses here, but anyway. Here is Prospero. Does anyone not see Moses? He's even got the staff. Except for the gold trim on his robe. You could make Moses. As you from crimes would pardoned be, let your indulgence set me free. I like him, though. I mean, you can still kind of tell who he is. Okay, seriously, this picture right here, he might as well be talking to the burning bush. It's Moses! I can't unsee it. I'm sorry. Caliban and Ariel. Honestly, I think both could be redone. I like Ariel's wings. That's about it. I'm sorry. It's just really disappointing. With all the detail she puts on other things in here, I'm disappointed. Oh well. If you want to make a pixie from Harry Potter, there you go. Just add the 2 little spiky triangles to make the ears and you're done. That is totally a pixie from Harry Potter. Othello. This is my favorite tragedy of Shakespeare's. Such a great play. And Iago, one of the best literary villains ever written. And yes, also brilliantly portrayed by the fabulous Kenneth Branagh. Oh, beware, my lord of jealousy! It is the green-eyed monster which doth mock the meat it feeds on. Stirring the pot there. When the play begins, Othello, the Moor of Venice, has a great military record and has just secretly married Desdemona, who was enthralled by his stories of heroics. Iago is angry at having not been promoted by Othello, so he decides to stir up trouble. First, he informs Desdemona's father about the marriage in a crude way, then begins to manipulate all around him to inflame Othello's jealousy. By the end of the play, Othello is convinced by Iago's maneuvers to make him believe that Desdemona has committed adultery, and then he murders her. Here is Othello. He looks great. She loved me for the dangers I had passed, and I loved her that she did pity them. This is the only witchcraft I have used. Aww. You're such a fool to believe a man who has never done anything nice for you. Here is Iago. Sorry about the weird paper thing. There's no way to, cover everything, but here he is. Nasty character. A Winter's Tale. Exit. Pursued by a bear. That's the line they picked. Oh. Perhaps the most famous of all of Shakespeare's stage directions, in which Lord Antigonus, who has traveled from Silica to Bohemia with baby Perdita, meets his end by the claws of a bear. I don't know a lot about this one, I'll be honest. So here is Antigonus, and I like how he looks. I have never read A Winter's Tale, so I could not tell you if I think he looks right for how he's described, but I mean, I like him. I think it's interesting that his coat is furry. I wonder if that's like the bear's fur. Again, I know nothing about this play. I'm so sorry. I like him, though. That's all I can say. Here is the bear. Honestly, I've seen way better bears. I like the feet. But that's kind of it. Yeah, I've seen cuter, scarier, better bears. Just, eh. The Merry Wives of Windsor. Fallstaff! Yay! If you don't know who Fallstaff is, he's one of the best comedic parts of a few of Shakespeare's plays. Oh, powerful love that in some respects makes a beast a man, and in others a man a beast. He's also a little bit wise. Sir John Falstaff is down on his luck financially, and he thinks he'll be able to change his fortunes by pursuing the wives of 2 rich merchants. The ladies find out he's trying to romance them both at the same time, so they plot to make mischief at Falstaff's expense. During the course of the play, Falstaff is thrown into a river, forced to dress as an old woman, and get beaten up. In the final act, they lure him to Windsor Park with the promise of a romantic liaison. At their request, Falstaff dresses as Herne the Hunter, an English folklore character said to have antlers growing from his head. The ladies stage an evening of supernatural goings-on before their scheme is revealed. The comical character Falstaff appears in both Henry IV, Part 1 and 2, and is memorialized in Henry V. The character is thought to have been a favorite by Queen Elizabeth I, requested to see him in love, and Shakespeare wrote The Merry Wives of Windsor in order to satisfy the monarch's wishes. Oh, that's cool. The play was a hit and has been adapted as an opera numerous times, including by composers Verdi and Salieri. Here is Fallstaff. You got a pretty good look at him on the other page, but he was kind of hidden by the women, so I'm going to show you another picture. So here you go. Aw, look at the little patches on his clothing. That's so cute. That's a great detail. Here is one of the ladies, Mistress Page. Wives may be wary, and yet honest, too. Okay. Mistress Ford. Oh, they made her a redhead. Well, revenge. That makes sense. How shall I be revenged on him? I think the best way were to entertain him with the hope till wicked fire of lust have melted him in his own grease. So she's a little bit angry, if you couldn't tell. I don't blame her. 12th Night. If music be the food of love, play on. Okay, there's a lot written on this page, but basically all you have to know is Viola and Sebastian are twins, and she has to become him at one point. So I am waiting for this pattern to change in such a way that you technically only make one doll. A very, very loose interpretation of this play was made called She's the Man with Amanda Bynes. If you ever saw that in the 2000s. It's a very loose interpretation of the story. Extremely loose, but it is the same idea, basically. Okay, so Viola and Cesario, because she has to change her name. Many a good hanging prevents a bad marriage. Why did she pick that one? Okay. I did not pick the quotes in this book. Just want to say that. Anyway, so here she is in her dress and her little headgear and her little coat. So let's see how she looks like Sebastian now. Okay, so here is Viola. And here is Sebastian. Ta-da! I'll even try to put them on the same page so you can see. So, we've got shorts, same top, black hat, and I don't know if you like put her hair up in the hat or if it's a wig. Either way, I'm impressed. I like this. That's a good play, by the way. You should read it. It's good. William Shakespeare? Really? Oh my goodness. William Shakespeare. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Shakespeare wrote at least 37 plays, 150 sonnets, lived through the plague, and was successful in his own lifetime as a writer, actor, and his appeal has not faded in the centuries since his death. Born in 1564 in Stratford-upon-Avon, England, William was the eldest son of John Shakespeare, a prosperous glover, and Mary Arden, daughter of a wealthy farmer. He married at 18 with 3 children to his wife, Anne Hathaway. While his family stayed in Stratford, Shakespeare moved to London and became an actor and writer for his own troupe, the Lord Chamberlain's Men, named after the aristocratic sponsor. They performed for audiences at the Globe Theatre along the River Thames, as well as for Queen Elizabeth I. After the Queen died and King James took over the throne, Shakespeare's players became the King's Men. Nowadays, you can still visit the houses where Shakespeare lived in Stratford-upon-Avon and visit the recreation of the Globe Theatre along the Thames. I've been there. I've been to the recreated theater, and it is amazing. I loved it. He looks good. You know, he does. Bit too much black yarn. Probably would have put him in red or purple or green or any other coat color. But I like him. And that's it. That's Hooked on Shakespeare. I hope you enjoyed today's flip through. If you would like to purchase the book yourself, the Amazon link will be down below. I don't make anything off of it. I just want to make it easy for you guys to find. I'm very excited to work on this stuff next year. I am planning some Shakespeare type things on my channel because I like Shakespeare. And I thought, why not? So, thank you so much for joining me today. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to the Yarn Zebra family. I would love to have you back. And remember, life happens, yarn helps, and spoonies can stitch it up too. Bye.